So I was talking with a potential client earlier this morning, and he brought up something that I'm seeing a lot of lately, and that's he wanted to start his journey at the end of last year, actually, and he really pretty much spent months and months deliberating over what was the best diet for him to choose. He started, he thought keto was the way, and then he was looking at carnivore, and then he thought flexible dieting was the one to choose, and in reality, he really didn't end up choosing one. He was like paralysis by analysis. He didn't actually start any of them. And the other thing I'm seeing a lot of is that people will start one and they won't see immediate results, and they'll think, oh well, I'd be getting, if they're trying flexible dieting, and they'll think, well, I'd be seeing quicker results on carnivore or going low carb or whatever the case may be. I want to let you in a little secret here. All diets work if you actually stick to them. As Layne Norton likes to say, compliance is the science. So if you trust that all diets will work, if you actually stick to them, it really comes down to which one works best for you, which one feels the least restrictive to you. They're all gonna suck just a little bit, at least. Damn it, just got a test. The key is finding which one feels the least restrictive to you. That's the one you're going to be able to sustain for the long term. I really like Peter Attia's framework, where he describes them as three levers you can pull. There's calorie restriction, dietary restriction, and time restriction. Time restriction is intermittent fasting. It's the idea being, if you only have a 4-hour window or an 8-hour window to eat in, you're going to consume less calories than if you were shoveling food in your mouth all day long. Calorie restriction is just that. You're counting your calories as long as you're under the predetermined number, whether it's 2,400, 2,800, 2,000, whatever your calorie allotment is. As long as you track your macros, weigh your food, and you come in under that, you should be good to go. Dietary restriction is, it can be keto, it can be carnivore, no sugar, no carb. It can be whatever. You're strictly taking things out of the diet is the key. And like he says, you can choose. You can be pulling one lever at a time, or all three levers at a time, or you can use one lever one day, another lever another day. A good example. So, for example, for me, I tried intermittent fasting, and it worked great for me, but it wasn't really sustainable because I didn't feel like I would have had to be, at the time, I would have to be eating 3 meals a day at work, which, I mean, I do meal prepping, but it didn't work for me at having all 3 meals. Or my last meal would have to be directly after work, which would mean I would have to go straight home to eat it and then to the gym, which is a pain in the ass. I'd rather go straight from work to the gym and then go home and eat dinner. Also, along the same line, for me, calorie restriction and the kind of the flexible dieting model, that was the toughest for me to stick to. And let's face it, if you're significantly overweight, there's a good chance you're not going to be able to eat the foods that you've been eating, just in smaller quantities. If you could have done that, and if that was going to be successful for you, you could have done that before. And the main reason why calorie restriction doesn't accept, and the flexible dieting doesn't really work for me, is it's certainly, everybody can certainly throw in some sweets or some treats here and there, as long as they're fitting your macros and still lose weight. My problem is, if I have a couple of Oreos or an Oreo after my workout, that's all I'm going to think about the rest of the day. It's also going to make my fruit and yogurt bowls taste much less sweeter. So they're not going to be such a treat as they are now. So that's not really a long-term sustainable strategy for me, the flexible dieting. Tried it and it worked, but it was difficult. I mean, I constantly wanted to eat sweets and treats and say fuck the veggies, the fruit and the veggies. So to wrap this up, and what I want you to remember is, all diets work, but you do have to give them time. The other thing I'm seeing a lot of is people will, like I said earlier, they'll start a diet and then they'll think the grass is always greener on the other side. And if they're not seeing immediate weight loss, oh, it's the diet's fault. I'd be losing much quicker if I went no carb or keto or carnivore or whatever the case may be. You got to stick to it and give it a chance to work. But the most important thing I want to leave you guys with today is, all diets work if you stick to them, but they do just take time. That's the problem. That's the key. You just got to find what works the best and which feels the least restrictive to you.